No one could have guessed this girl was already 33 years old. She deliberately put on mature makeup, and when her adoptive mother wasn't around, she laid down next to her adoptive father. Jack was instantly terrified and scolded Annie for her inappropriate behavior. Furious, Jack sent Annie back to her room, but what he didn't expect was Annie was a demon suffering from dwarfism. She had been rejected by an adoptive father before, and that entire family suffered Annie's revenge. Yet this very demon was actively adopted by a mother recovering from a miscarriage. Ever since Annie came to this home, she used her fear of the dark as an excuse to successfully sleep next to Jack every night. But Jack was completely unaware of her schemes. Before going to school each day, Annie would put on bracelets and chokers, dressing in a very mature style. Because of her strange appearance, Annie was mocked by her classmates. Annie said nothing in response to their taunts. However, when a female classmate merely touched her choker, she immediately started screaming. After school that day, Annie sat on the swing, staring at the girl. The female classmate sensed the danger, but strangely, when she turned around, Annie had vanished. Sensing danger, she began looking everywhere. But no matter how careful she was, something terrible still happened. That evening, the stepfather received a call from the classmate's parents, saying Annie had pushed their daughter. Annie immediately argued that the girl had fallen on her own. Looking at innocent Annie, the father believed her words. But the next day, the mother received a call from the orphanage. They wanted to know if Annie had caused any trouble. The mother mentioned the incident about the girl falling from the slide, adding that Annie might have pushed her. The director's face immediately changed. What she feared most had happened. She said she would come for a home visit tomorrow to explain some things. What the mother didn't know was that all of this was overheard by her younger daughter, who could read lips. She told Annie everything. That night, the couple argued about the slide incident. The mother suspected Annie was responsible, but the father insisted it was just an accident. The argument shifted to their mutual distrust, and they had a huge fight. Meanwhile, Annie showed a sinister smile. Her goal was to destroy the relationship between her adoptive parents. The next day, the director came to their home. As soon as she entered, she apologized to the couple for not telling them certain things. When Annie was still at the orphanage, though they never directly saw her cause trouble, she was always present whenever trouble occurred. Even more suspicious was the fire at her previous adoptive family's home. The investigation showed it was deliberate arson. The only survivor was Annie, but the police couldn't believe a little girl could commit arson. The case went nowhere. Annie overheard their entire conversation. Then Annie began her evil plan. She went to the tool shed and grabbed a hammer. When the director was leaving, Annie appeared behind her and took care of her. Then she went home to gain stepfather Jack's sympathy, saying she tried hard to please Mom, but Mom still didn't like her. Everything she said was actually setting up her next plan. That evening, she suddenly said she wanted to give Mom a surprise. Then she pulled out a bouquet of white roses. Mom instantly flew into a rage and grabbed Annie immediately, because buried beneath the roses was her miscarried baby. Mom had always treated this potted plant as her own child. Now it was destroyed. Annie had actually known about this before. This was clearly intentional, but her husband still defended Annie, saying Annie didn't mean it. The wife fell into deep despair, but Annie's schemes were far from over. She went to the tool shed alone and deliberately injured her hand to frame the mother.